Hi, everybody. Well, I've talked about this a couple times in the past and my feelings on it, but because of a recent poll that I've seen asking two questions. One, should people be allowed to remove gratuities on a cruise ship? Or two, yes, they should be allowed to remove gratuities on a cruise ship. And it's not as clear-cut as you may seem. So first off, let me just say, I wish that every cruise line out there would just add the gratuities into the price of the cruise. So it's not a whole separate conversation. Now, obviously, the reason they do this is for tax purposes, because all the money paid by gratuities is designated towards the employee. They don't have to designate it as income coming in. Their top line is their gross is less, and they save money on the taxes. But it is so frustrating for the rest of us, because now you have the controversy. In your mind, you're thinking to yourself, okay, when I go on the ship and I have a good stateroom attendant, I should leave them a tip. Well, chances are you're leaving them a tip whether or not you're paying gratuities or not. I have never not left a tip for my stateroom attendant. 188 cruises, never not left a tip, right? So I'm guessing most people do that as well. And the cruise lines kind of expect you to do that anyway, because before the end of your cruise, you usually get that little envelope that comes underneath your door that says, tip, tip, hooray, or, hey, if you appreciated the service, they are giving you an envelope to leave money in. But wait a minute, didn't you already pay the gratuities? Isn't that what the gratuities is going for, right? That's what the argument is all about. But the cruise lines come back and say, yeah, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are serving you. Yes, there are. There are waiters, there are cooks, there are people who clean the ships, there are people who are doing laundry, there are bartenders, there are people stocking, there are people who move the luggage. There's a lot of people. Yes, there is. But let's compare that to eating at a restaurant. And I base my tip usually on how much I'm spending in the restaurant and the service I'm getting from the waiter, and if I like the food. Now, it's kind of unfair to the waiter if the food is really bad, because they didn't cook it, right? So I'm punishing them, but that's the way the service industry is. But I base my stuff on the waiter. Now, I'm leaving a tip. Am I tipping the chef? No, I don't tip the chef. Am I tipping the busboy who collects the dishes after I'm done? No, I don't. Do I tip the dishwasher in the back of the restaurant who's cleaning the dishes? No, I don't. Do I tip the hostess who sat me at the table? No, I don't. Unless that restaurant is pooling tips, I'm tipping the waiter or waitress. So why is that different on a cruise ship? Why are the people in the laundry service and that not being paid straight salaries like restaurant staff and hotel staff are? When was the last time you left a tip for the chambermaid in a hotel? Probably a long time. Probably a long time. Most people don't even think about doing that anymore, because you don't really interact, unless you're staying at a hotel for multiple days. But if you're in for a pre-night cruise hotel, or you never even see the chambermaid until you're walking down the hall when you leave the hotel. So do you leave a tip? No. Now, again, I have never removed gratuities once in my life. However, do I wish the cruise line would change the entire policy? Yes. Yes, I do. I would want one cruise price. That's the gratuities. That's the taxes. That's my cruise fare. That's whatever add-ons I've added onto it, drink packages, Wi-Fi, whatever. Put it into the price of the cruise. And then when I'm and then when I'm on board and I get good service on board and I want to tip extra, that's on me. That's up to me to do. Or how about it's an expectation that you would tip your staff who are changing your room every day and the steward that you're interacting with all the time, or a butler if you're staying in the retreat or into the sanctuary or into the yacht club, right? Then you're kind of expected to, if they're doing a good job, you're expected to tip. That's fine because we're tipping those people anyway. We're paying the $18 per day per person per stateroom anyway, if not more. And one of the great things about Virgin Cruise Lines is they used to have that all included. And now they're changing their policy to show the gratuities and have that as a separate charge. So everybody's doing it now. Hardly anybody is separating those gratuities and adding them, keeping them in the cruise fare, unless you're into some of the ultra luxury cruise lines. So should you remove gratuities? I guess that's totally up to you. And if you're doing it just because, we're not going into a cruise port today because of the bad weather. I'm very upset about it, so I'm removing my gratuities. No, that's being petty. Now you're hurting everybody because you didn't get into port. That had nothing to do with any of the people that served you or anything like that. If you had truly bad service and really didn't like your stateroom attendant and stuff like that, or felt that the bartenders were ignoring you and the restaurant service was bad, yeah, go ahead and remove gratuities then, because you had a truly bad experience. However, I'd say 99.9% of people never remove the gratuities, never change their gratuities, and it's still just there. It's there. And we're actually tipping more. How many times do you go to a restaurant, like a bar on a cruise ship, and people are leaving them $1, $2 every time they order a drink? Well, there's already an 18 to 21% gratuity on that drink. Whether you have the drink package or whether you're just paying cash for it or charging it to your room. There's already a gratuity on every single drink you buy. So why are we tipping another $1, another $2 every single time? Now I know the bartenders on the cruise ship are going to be angry because that's the money they're making. But when you think about it, you're already paying the gratuity. You're already paying for service. Yeah. Should you remove them? Probably not. Should the cruise line change it completely and start adding it to the cruise fare so we don't even have to argue about this anymore? Absolutely.